In China, some people wear red wedding dresses because red is a lucky color there. I remember growing up and seeing these pictures of my mom in her red wedding dress, and I just thought it was the most beautiful piece of clothing ever. The fascinating culture that includes wedding celebrations is a reason why I'm proud to be Chinese.
The Philippines has some of the most beautiful sceneries in the world, and alongside that, the people there always have the brightest smiles on their faces, and that's why I'm proud to be Filipino.
South Korea is a leading country of IT with worldwide companies such as Samsung and LG, and that's why I'm proud to be Korean.
The fresh ingredients coming from Vietnam to make dishes such as bún bò Huế, phở, bánh mì, and many more are the main reasons why I am proud to be a Vietnamese citizen.
So a fun fact about India is that it's the land of spices, as well as no other country can produce the amount of spices that India does, and no matter what city you go to, you're always going to get different types of food, and that is why I am proud of being Indian.
China enjoys a great diversity of culture and language from the 56 ethnic groups that live there, and that is one of the many reasons why I am proud to be Chinese.
South Korea has no doubt some of the best dishes I've had in my life, including traditional foods such as kimchi and bibimbap. The memories I've made and the rich traditions behind these Korean dishes are one of many reasons why I'm proud to be Korean.
中国地大物博，饮食文化历史悠久，源远流长。不同的地域有不同的饮食文化，最具代表性的就有8个菜系，比如说川菜以香辣为主，粤菜以烹饪海鲜为特色。我很骄傲，我是一个中国人。
I am Vietnamese Canadian, and some of the things I love about Vietnam is the fresh ingredients that are made to make their foods and the natural beauty that can be found throughout the country.
China has many great historical features, including the Forbidden City and the Great Wall of China, and that's why I'm proud to be Chinese.
Seeing Korean food, culture, pop, drama, and beauty thriving makes me so proud and happy, and that is why I'm proud to be Korean.
Hi Appleby, I'm Angela.
And I'm Julie.
And as Asian members of the Chapel Council, we are so thrilled and honored to be delivering the sermon for the Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month themed chapel service.
May is a time to reflect and appreciate the contributions made by those of Asian heritage to Canada, even during times where Canada was not a welcoming or tolerant society. Asian Heritage Month has been celebrated across Canada since 1990s, until when Canada officially designated May as Asian Heritage Month in 2001. The theme for Asian Heritage Month this year is recognition, resilience, and resolve, embodying the myriad of sentiments that people of Asian descent in Canada have experienced, while also honoring their contributions and their diverse stories, which are rooted in resilience and perseverance. It is a call to action for all Canadians to come together to combat all forms of anti-Asian racism and discrimination.
And despite the immense help that Asian immigrant workers contributed historically to building and developing Canada, such as the Canadian Pacific Railway, government policies towards these immigrants reflected racial attitudes and unacceptable conditions.
The anti-Asian sentiment in Canada continued during the early 20th century. However, these Asian immigrants had no choice but to continue working hard while fighting for their voices to be recognized and heard.
And even though we're unable to cover the whole history of Asian influences on Canada, we want to stress the importance of looking back and recognizing these contributions because it'll give us perspective and courage to learn from the past and not to repeat the same mistakes. If we don't, we will never know about the struggles and success of those that passed before us. Any Asian immigrant community's lives and contributions are as much part of the Canadian history than other racial groups.
Racism has always been present since the moment Asian immigrants stepped foot on Canada, and we're once again reminded of this fact by how the Asian communities are being treated ever since COVID-19 started spreading in Canada.
And when I first heard about the increased numbers of racist acts that the Asian communities were experiencing, I was disappointed but not very shocked. For a country that prides itself for being diverse and welcoming, the people were not acting that way, and I felt like I was saying the bitter truth. In the times where we should work as a whole to overcome this pandemic, people started to blame us for supposedly starting the virus, which only creates more distrust and toll on mental health while everyone has enough of those already.
Despite the long documented history of racism toward Asian Americans, there has been a lack of attention paid to prejudice and discrimination directed against us. Asians have continued to face racism, most often in microaggressions in daily lives. However, people were really awakened about the racism only after a series of mass shootings at 3 Atlanta spas, which killed 8 people, 6 of whom were Asian women.
As much as it hurts hearing all about the news on anti-Asian attacks, I was really impressed by how the different Asian communities around the world came together to fight for our rights and speak up about this issue that has been present for a very long time. In our culture, and at least in my family, we are usually taught to keep our heads down and not to get involved in political or social issues. However, I've noticed that slowly, one by one, even the people around me realize that it's finally time to raise our voices because being vulnerable and stepping out of our comfort zone is the only way that will protect our community. And even though this month should be filled with Asian pride and recognition, we must not forget to continue addressing the problems around anti-Asian hate crimes and attacks.
This month could be spent celebrating and learning traditional as well as contemporary Asian American culture, including poetry, dances, sports, music, art, and many more. For instance, there is emerging Asian influence in North American music such as K-pop, from Gangnam Style to artists like BTS and Blackpink. The growth of K-pop artists' influence can be noticed in music awards. Also in visual entertainment are Japanese animes and K-dramas. In Hollywood, China has allowed more foreign films for distribution, and Korean movies like Parasite and Minari have received much attention from Western film industries and audiences.
Every single culture and country in this world are special and unique in their own respectful ways. Not one country is better than other just because of the size, influence, or anything. That's why it's important to treat all cultures the same and to even learn about some of them because they're so vastly different and fascinating. And we hope you, in honor of Asian Heritage Month, try and learn about the beautiful cultures of East, South, Central, Southeast, and Western Asian countries this month.
The recognition of Asian American history should not only be restricted within this month, but integrated throughout the year.